Greetings, everybody. It is I, Katie Morton, and Morty. Morty, why don't you begin by introducing yourself?
I am Morty. I'm Morty Oberstein. I'm the founder of Unified Brand Marketing, and I'm here to talk to you today about performance and brand marketing.
And I'm Katie Morton, editor in chief of Search Engine Journal, and I'm just going to hang out and chat with Morty about all of his findings, discoveries, and sharings.
Yeah, the first discovery I found is that I have more hair all of a sudden.
It's beautiful. It's quite a beautiful thing.
Yeah. By the way, I'm gonna break the fourth wall. If you were joined us for the live recording last time, I'm probably gonna make the same jokes over and over again not because I just is how I roll, not because I've rehearsed them. I just make the same jokes over and over. I even wore the same shirt as last time to kind of have like a continuity.
Hey, okay, real quick, we're gonna start over.
Okay.
And we're live now, or not live, but we're live to us three. So I want to make sure that it captures it. So if we can just start again, sorry.
Yeah, that's cool. I started again before. Why not now?
Yeah, there you go. All right.
All right. Do you want to count us down again?
Yeah,
and then I'm assuming Wiz Design
they'll cut out the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So we'll just go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, everybody. It is I, Katie Morton, editor-in-chief of Search Engine Journal, and I am here with Morty Oberstein, founder of Unify. Morty, please tell us about yourself. Why are you here today?
Hi, I'm Morty, and I'm the founder of Unify Brand Marketing, and I'm also here to talk to you about how performance and brand marketing interact and interplay. By the way, I always forget you're editor-in-chief. I always want to call you chief. Like, hey, chief.
Chief is fine. It's great. You can call me chief.
Okay, chief. From now on, that's what I'm doing. Sorry.
Sweet.
So yeah, we're going to talk about performance and brand marketing. I'm going to run through a whole bunch of ideas and discoveries, and Katie and I are going to chat about it. The first discovery is that I have way more hair on this slide than I do in real life. So thank you, by the way, to the designer who made this. I feel so much better about myself. I almost look handsome.
You're always handsome, Morty.
On the inside, but not on the outside, a different story. Okay. Performance and brand marketing, how brand actually fuels what we call growth on the performance side. So first up, let's just talk about why we're even talking about brand. Because this is Search Engine Journal. We're all about performance marketing, right? Sort of, kind of. There's a few reasons why we're going to talk about brand today. One is the absolute endless amount of digital noise that's in the ecosystem right now. Whether it be because of AI content, whether just because social media, there's just endless amounts of noise, and it's really hard to stand out, and it's really hard to resonate with your audience. So even if you do, let's say, I don't know, show up in a PPC ad, or you rank, or you get in front of someone's eyeballs on social media, it's super hard to resonate because there's just so much noise. I actually changed up my entire LinkedIn strategy because of this. It's horrific, by the way. So it means that people are looking for something that's a little bit more connective, far, far less generic, which we're going to talk about. I'll show you what I mean by that later, and definitely less coercive. So for you performance marketing folk, that kind of means taking your foot off the gas pedal a little bit, which is super uncomfortable. I understand that, but we're going to talk about that sort of kind of maybe. This is a B2B event, asset, whatever you want to call it. What we're doing now is a B2B thing. So what I'm telling you about there being too much digital noise, about the need for brand, yada, 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 is super applicable B2B. It's actually almost especially applicable B2B. And there's another reason why we're talking about brand, and that's because Google is not Google anymore. Or Google really never was Google, but we didn't realize it. But now we do realize it. Like the SERP is a dumpster fire. It's been trashed for a while. It's been incredibly volatile. Like, I actually have data on this. Like, it's insane how much more volatile the SERP is now relative, let's say, I don't know, like 3 years ago. It's bonkers. Okay, the standard deviation of rank fluctuations is above 2 on average, somewhere around there, which is like super volatile. So search isn't the channel we thought it was. It really never was, to be honest with you. Rand Fishkin's got a great video about this where he talks about, oh, yeah, your traffic, like your Google Analytics for like anybody's actually using that, whatever analytics you're using, will say, oh, the traffic came from Google, but that's not actually how it works. But we'll talk about more about that later. So what do you do if there's so much digital noise, no one's paying attention, even if you get in front of their eyeballs, Google's not Google anymore, B2B is actually changed in a lot of ways. You look for the helpers. Like you always do, first off, like default, always do what Mr. Rogers says. And Mr. Rogers says, look for the helpers. And brand, as we're going to talk about, is the big helper. Katie, I'm kind of curious. We talked about before we did the actual webinar. We talk a lot. Like independently and together, we talk a lot. There seems to be like I feel like a digital winter coming. Like there's just so much brand noise. It's just out of control. I'm sorry, digital noise. It's out of control.
Yeah, well, and I feel like to your point about that phrase, the digital winter, I feel like it's already here. A lot of people, based on the dumpster fire of the SERP, we've seen a lot of small publishers go out of business, and it's been really tough on an entire industry, and almost every industry that relies on internet traffic. Google's really squeezed those pipes shut, to use the technical term. So people are looking, as you said, for the helpers. Where else can we drive traffic? How can we drive traffic? And that's part of what you're going to reveal to us today.
Oh yeah, mystery revealed. I have all the secrets. One of the things, but it's not in my presentation, but you just made me think about it. I'm just going to say it randomly now, and what I'm going to talk about will help you do this. Is direct traffic. Direct traffic is enormously valuable. So think about direct traffic, because then you're not relying on algorithms. And I'm like, oh, it's super awesome. Okay, let's get into this a little bit more and discuss why brand is B2B, because everyone kind of thinks like, no, brand, that's B2C, which is not true. Okay, brand is super B2B right now. More than ever. Okay, if you're thinking like, oh, brand, that's like a B2C kind of thing, not true. One of the hot in the brand marketing world, emotive marketing in the B2B space is one of the hottest topics right now. Like someone asked me to write up a whole thing about like what I think what's going on in 2025. I'm like, oh, emotive branding for B2B. That's a sweet spot right now. So if you're thinking that brand is just B2C, that's an old notion that kind of was lingered on, but it's not true anymore. And B2B brands particularly suck at emotive B2B. Like they're this dude, wait for it. Yeah, you're that dude, dropping the ball and then letting the other team score and win the game. I still hold on to this as a victory. This happened 10 years ago. I'm still proud of this moment for my team. This is sad. The way B2B brands go about digital marketing, and particularly at the copy level, is I'm super, super, super sarcastic and snarky. So when I say inspirational, I don't really mean it. I mean the opposite of whatever inspirational is. And you could just see, I spent 5 minutes doing this. I spent 5 minutes looking for bad web copy. It took me 5 minutes to find this. Express yourself with confidence. That's a very differentiated message never heard before anywhere. The AI editor for everyone is, guess what? Is the AI editor for no one. So please, here's my wallet. Take my money and go ahead. Pillage my bank account. I don't even understand this. Okay, again, I'm super sarcastic and snarky. This is just me. I don't understand this. Nothing says creativity like stock images. Really? Yes. When I think...
I'm going to interrupt you, Morty. They also really drive the point home with the background image of a beige sweater.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. That's so good. That's so good. Yes. Nothing says creativity like beige sweaters that my grandfather wears. Wears.
No offense to all the grandpas.
Holy crap. Wow, that's amazing. Good point. Okay. It's like, tell me you're lying to me without telling me you're lying to me. Also, here, tell me you're bad at marketing without telling me you're bad at marketing. Social media is best kept secret. Let me tell you something about marketing. You're not supposed to keep secrets. You know what you're supposed to do with marketing? You're supposed to publicize it and make sure everyone knows about it so they spend. So telling me it's a best kept secret is either a lie or you're just really bad at what you do, which is marketing. So why would I pay you my money? No, but really, take my firstborn child, my credit card, whatever you want. It's amazing what brands do. It is possible, however, as crazy as it sounds, to do both. To be a little bit conversion-y, write your web copy, fine, whatever, and be emotive. This is Zendesk, and I'm going to use them as an example because they're pretty good. Like, not amazing, but they're pretty good. So the H1 AI first service, blah, 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 it's pretty good. It's fine. But they go through and they kind of contextualize that. Customers and employees are more than interactions. They're human. They're giving you some emotional meat to work with. Yes, we're doing AI service, but no, it doesn't mean we forgot that you're a human being, that we're still servicing you, the human. And they get a little emotive. I'll give you an actual example. Like, here's an ad that they pulled. It's a 1-minute thing, so we're going to watch it together. And it's a good example of how you can be emotive in the B2B space.
People of the planet, sapiens of the sphere, everyone on Earth. Ken from Kentucky, Renata from Rio, Jiro from Japan. We see you. You and your immaculate sneaker collection. We know a better customer experience is better for everyone. Better for the health nuts. Better for the plant parents. And guess what? It's even better for the bottom line. We know the precious time you have on this spinning rock is not meant to be spent waiting on hold for 92 minutes, only to be met with a, "Your call is very important to us." Nobody has time for that. You're out here doing your thing. And we know sometimes you just want to speak to a representative. Even our AI is all about YOU. Because while some say the customer is always right, we say the customer is always human. So we're building a better customer experience with AI that puts people first, which is better for all of us.
Okay, great. Like, first off, that looks so B2C when you think about it. That didn't feel B2B. That felt super B2C. Guess what? That's Zendesk is B2B. It's a customer service platform for businesses. And what they're doing, and maybe it's not the best in the whole world, but what they're doing is they're saying, okay, look, we know we have to go AI. Everyone has to go AI. If you want to continue to function, we have to go AI. Fine. But we also know that we have to resonate. And we have to remind you that we see you, we know you, we understand you, we get you, we see you. And even if we're going super smart, in my opinion, even if we're going AI, it doesn't mean that we forgot about you. So it's possible to do B2B emotive marketing. And by the way, I'm curious what you think about this. I feel like, personally, I feel like this, but I feel like it's a trend in general. That barrier between professional life and personal life has narrowed. Like, back in the day, I remember my dad is in my mind as I'm saying this. He goes to work every day with his briefcase and his tie, and he's super professional. I mean, I'm talking B2B. This is a big publication. Do I seem super professional at all?
Well, you hit all the right notes, Morty, because really when you talk about, brand, it's having a personality that connects to customers. And so, whereas back in the day, it was more about being somebody who blended with kind of almost like an anonymous corporate culture that did not support individuality at all. And so, yeah, I think that this ad, which we could discuss, the AI washing of advertising these days, which we've mentioned in the past. But that aside, this really does try to connect to individual humans and just sort of acknowledging that we all have our differences, and that's a good thing, right? That we want to show up as authentic selves, not to do any spoilers there. But yeah, it's about the authenticity instead of just trying to like put on your suit and your mask and your corporate costume and just, blend. And yeah, hiding the emotions. I remember when I started my career, it was very much like just fit in and like don't get out of line, don't rock any boats. That was really the mode.
That's landing for me. It's to be like in the real estate sector, 20. Oh, it's so landing. But by the way, like we watched over this line. AI washing is a Katie original, and I'm stealing that line from you. You have like greenwashing. We talked about this before. If you're listening, we didn't talk about this before. Katie and I talked about this before. So you didn't miss anything. Although you didn't miss some. It's a great conversation. about greenwashing. Now we have like AI washing. So it's a great phrase. And by the way, the point about individuality, that's exactly what it is. We're much more individualistic at our jobs, and that corporate facade just kind of doesn't exist anymore. So if you're listening and you're watching this, hopefully you're watching this, not just listening, but hopefully you are listening too. It's that corporate facade doesn't exist anymore. So B2B is a completely different space from a brand point of view. And I think a lot of brands are way, way behind in that notion. But you're not anymore because you're with us. So let's keep going. So brand, check this out. Brand drives traffic. This is what we're really here for. Yes, okay, we've talked about, we understand why we need brand, but let's get into the nitty gritty of like the performance. Brand drives traffic, and you're really skeptical about that. And I understand that, but I want to run through what brand actually produces. Okay, brand is searches plus offering. So brand name plus offering. Buffalo Wild Wings plus sauce. Buffalo Wild Wings plus boneless wings. You'll see why I'm going with Buffalo Wild Wings, which is a chicken wing chain in the US. I'll get to that later. But brand produces that. It gets people searching for your brand name and what you do, which is super important. I'll get to that. It's super important because it helps Google contextualize what you're all about, right? If Google sees Nike plus shoes, Nike plus athletic wear, it gets the idea what Nike is about, right? Or in this case, Buffalo Wild Wings. I was going to say wings produce. Wings do produce. But brand produces mentions. Which, by the way, Brittany Muller, who's a fantabulous, that's a new word, fantabulous person to follow on social media, just put this on, I think it was on X I saw this. I can't keep track of my social media where I see things anymore. Mentions are the new links in an LLM world. Brand produces mentions. What really makes Buffalo Wild Wings chicken so delicious is a mention. By the way, it probably also produces traffic because after you see that wing, how are you not Googling Buffalo Wild Wings near me? It also produces links with optimized anchor text, which is crazy. All of this, by the way, is part of Mark Williams Cook's exploitation. I purposely phrased that so it sound like Mark Williams Cook is exploiting people, just so I control Mark just a wee bit. Hi, Mark. Oh, I just did it. I'm not realizing. Hi, Mark, from the room. Okay, I'm just like off the rails. And there's a movie called The Room, and like there's a guy walks in and goes, "Oh, hi, Mark," and I just did that without realizing it, not on purpose. Back on track. Mark Williams Cook found a Google, I don't know what you want to call it. Like he found part of the algorithm, basically, an exploitation in the algorithm. That's why I put the word exploitation there. And he actually got paid by Google $17,000 to report it, all of which he donated to charity because Mark is a good guy. The things I just mentioned, okay, brand mentions, obviously links we know about, branded searches plus service offering or product offering is all kind of part of what Mark found within his exploitation, which is what he's talking about here in this slide about search quality scores, which include branded mentions and service offering, mentions across the web, includes links and yada, yada, yada. Okay, brand also, because you thought the only place and the only way that you can get into a listicle was cold outreach. No, it's not true. Brand can get you into a listicle like it does here, right? Top 30 chicken wings in America, Buffalo Wild Wings. It also gets you into SERP features. You see Buffalo Wild Wings in here, and people also ask it. I'll put it this way, okay? The machines are aware. If you put in chicken wing restaurant to a third-party SEO tool, okay, you're going to get 2 restaurants back. You put a bunch of topics, you'll get Wingstop and Buffalo Wild Wings back. If you look at the top keywords, you're going to see Wingstop and Buffalo Wild Wings. The machines are aware of what's out there wider across the web, and that's super important, especially in the LLM era. And I'm going to prove it to you, but I'm going to prove it to you more about Google search than anything, but also applies for the LLMs. And the proof is in the wing sauce. Okay, we're going to take a look at Buffalo Wild Wings and Wingstop. I know this is a B2B event, webinar thingamajigger. They are B2C. But what I told you already is that B2B and B2C in motor marketing have kind of narrowed the gap on that. So what I'm telling you here about Wings on Buffalo Wild Wings applies B2B. Everything I'm telling you applies B2B. I'm just using them because they are a great example of what I'm talking about. Pause for a sip of water. And we're back. So a quick little rundown of each one of these. Wingstop has 2,175 U.S. locations the last time I checked. $500 million of revenue in 2023 and 4,000 employees. Buffalo Wild Wings has 1,322 U.S. locations, opened their 100th quick service location in 2024. That seems like a random fact, Morty. It isn't. You'll see why later. Has 44,000 employees and $2 billion of revenue as of 2023. They are a gargantuan mammoth. Now, the premise is that Wingstop should be crushing it. Yes, Buffalo Wild Wings is a legacy brand. They've been around long. Not a legacy. They've been around longer than Wingstop. But Wingstop is super hot. As SEJ's own Matt Southern pointed out to me as I was promoting this event on Blue Sky. Again, hard to keep track of all the social media. I'm pretty sure that's Blue Sky. Looking forward to this discussion. My guess as to why they're winning, meaning Wingstop has major cool factor, and they speak to Gen Z, and they do. I saw this on Discussion and Forum. They are super hip and super cool, but they're not winning the way you think they should be winning. You could see, by the way, the trend for legacy social media, because Buffalo Wild Wings has been around. They have more followers on X, and they have more followers on Facebook. But on the newer, hipper platforms, like Instagram or TikTok, which is now back in America. I guess, hooray. I don't know. I'm a middle-aged white man who's balding. I don't do TikTok. They have more, they being Wingstop, have way more followers because they, as Matt correctly pointed out, are super hip, super cool. What they're not is, they're not everywhere that they should be. They, as anecdotal as this is, they don't show up in a lot of the listicles the same way the Buffalo Wild Wings does. You can attribute that to that being, okay, they've been around longer. Not necessarily. This article is updated. It's February 11th, 2024. So why wouldn't Wingstop be in there? And especially, at least not at the top, right? This has nothing to do with like legacy per se. Okay, when you Google best chicken wings in the USA, at least when I Google this, it changes all the time, super volatile. But I just checked this the other day again. Buffalo Wild Wings appears in the people also search for. Wingstop does not. And that's like, don't tell me legacy. Like, that's not nothing to do with legacy. That's something else. When I looked in ChatGPT, someone else mentioned to me they saw the opposite. When I searched for it, Buffalo Wild Wings search was the first result that I got back from ChatGPT. If we break this down a little bit, just kind of like what's going on here, why is that happening? Well, let's take a look at what's happening with the brand on the SERP a little bit. So Wingstop has 97,000 branded keywords. Buffalo Wild Wings has more than double that. They have 215,000 branded keywords, which again, it's not really a legacy thing. Like that's like you have a ability to resonate about a wider amount of topics. That doesn't mean, by the way, that Buffalo Wild Wings has more branded traffic. In fact, they don't. Wingstop has more branded traffic, but I don't care about branded traffic right now. What I care about, and what you should be also looking at, is a number of branded keywords. This is for the US. I know the number looks different. This is for the US only. That's why the number looks different. Buffalo Wild Wings has 167,000 branded keywords. If I told you before that branded keywords plus offering is a signal to Google about what you're about so they can contextualize you, having more branded keywords plus service offering is a huge signal. The amount of traffic per se doesn't matter so much. As long as you're talking about keywords that have traffic, if they're registering in the SEO tool, they do. So the number of keywords to me is more important here. Because they're a legacy brand, and I want to like mention that and show that, Buffalo Wild Wings does have a lot more backlink, which is a huge part of it. They have a way more referring domains though also, but it's not even close. Like it's insanely not even close. Buffalo Wild Wings has 737 backlinks. Wingstop has 143,000. That's not just legacy. That's also something else going on here. Those also are follow backlinks, by the way. So you're like, okay, it's the SEO, Morty. I get it. Like, it's not the SEO. It's the brand. It's the brand that's driving all of this. Please allow me to explain myself because that sounds crazy when I say it. If you look at Buffalo Wild Wings, they have a much clearer positioning. I'm going to pause again to sip. I'm not even shy about the fact that I'm thirsty. Is that like wrong?
No, I think it's authentic, Morty. I too am thirsty.
I had a salty dinner. And now I'm looking at the wings and I'm feeling even salty. I'm just going to pre-drink now. Not how I intended that to come out.
Yeah.
I'm not actually pre-drinking. Okay, so Buffalo Wild Wings has very, very awesome positioning, brand positioning. And it's very, very clear when you look at them. They are the place. If you want to go be around other Michigan sports fans who want to go get drunk and get wing sauce all over their faces, they are the place for you. They understand you, right? Look at down by 3, not 3 points, 3 wings. That's clever. That's clever. And it speaks to the sports fan. Here's Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. Boneless meal deal, $15.99. There's nothing there. It doesn't resonate. It's just, we'll come back to that, okay? But like, that's a very sharp contrast. Down by 3, $15.99.
Yeah. Well, so I think Buffalo Wild Wings should have a tagline of "Get sauced in public."
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I don't like that. That's so good. If you're listening, Buffalo Wild Wings, you should totally steal that. And no, don't steal. Pay Katie for that. If we take a little bit of a closer look at what's going on, it's just why I mentioned before that Buffalo Wild Wings opened 100 quick takeout locations. Wingstop has no dining area. They're only for takeout. Which is why Buffalo Wild Wings did that. They're targeting Wingstop. They know they're a real threat because Matt said super hot, super cool, super hip. If we get a little bit closer to the glass, come on, a little closer, and too much. That's just like more teeth than I need to see. If we take, these are all ads from Buffalo. I'm just not gonna be the first time I interchange them. So sorry. From Wingstop. These are all ad screenshots from Wingstop, not Buffalo Wild Wings. There's a commonality. Everyone's at home. Everyone is at home. The car counts as home. It's your home on wheels. Why? It's not a coincidence. Because Wingstop doesn't have sit-in. They are the opposite. They are for me. I do not want to go out and get drunk with other people. I do not want to see other people with wing sauce all over their faces. I want to sit my keister on my couch, watch the Steelers go one and done in the playoffs again in my own misery, eating wings by myself. Wingstop is for me. Also, you can do with other people. If you're not antisocial like I am, you can do that with other people. But I prefer not to with football because it's just painful and I get upset. Wingstop is for me. They are for me. Do you know the closest they get to saying that is this? It's freaking mind-boggling. This is the closest they get to telling you that they are for bringing the wings home to you so you can sit on the couch with either your friends or, as I prefer, in your own misery, eating wings. You don't have to go out in public. You don't even have to put pants on. They'll have a drone deliver it to you.
Can I just say this ad shouts dystopian nightmare?
From a branding point of view, it is. It is. The point is, if you want to resonate, if you want those branded searches, if you want those backlinks, if you want those mentions, if you want to get in those listicles, if you want the tools to pick you up, if you want Google to list you in the people also search for section of the SERP, or in the people also whatever section of the SERP, you need to have a digital presence. And in order to have a real digital presence, you have to resonate. And Wingstop, damn you if you're listening to me. Listen to me, Wingstop. I feel like Dr. McCoy from like Star Trek. Damn it, Jim. Damn it, Wingstop. If you're listening to me, you have an enormous brand gap. You have no positioning. It's so easy to fix. Look, go back and look. There's no positioning in that. You're just telling me nice things that sound catchy. There's no actual positioning. Stop it. Stop it, Wingstop. I'm gonna stop sharing. I'm getting upset.
Just compose yourself. It'll be okay. Well, and we can flip that tagline of get sauced in private with Wingstop.
Yes. Oh, also really good. Slightly naughty. I like that. And it's amazing. What are they doing? And they're doing
Well-
exactly what most brands do, by the way.
What's that?
They're not doing a good job with their branding.
Oh, I was going to say relying too heavily on AI to create their branding as well.
Ooh, wow. If that was a chicken wing, that'd be a spicy wing.
Kapow. Spicy.
Okay. So let's actually get into this. And now that we understand like brand is really super important, I want to tell you that's way more important than you even think, because brand doesn't drive just traffic like I just showed you there. That it'll get you onto the SERP, you'll get traffic, right? You'll get mentions and links. By the way, links are fundamentally to me about traffic more than anything else. Getting a link on a big news website will get you millions of visitors. I've seen this happen personally. Brand even gets you, check this out, clicks and conversions. So if you think clicks, okay, SEO, search engine journal, if you think clicks are about rank, you're so wrong. And I know like, oh, but I read a CTR study, Morty, that says if I'm at position 2, the CTR is this. And if I'm at position 3, the CTR is that. Screw that study. Unless it was from somebody that I love, in which case that study is great. That's not exactly how it works. That's how it works in aggregate, in general, kind of, sort of, but not in a vacuum. Because you know when we say like the funnel is messy? This is one of the examples of exactly how we're talking about. The funnel is so messy. If you're not a brand that's recognized, your CTR is going to be lower if you're on a SERP with recognized brands. And if you don't believe me, because I'm just some schmendrick, believe Eli Schwartz. He wrote a book about SEO called Product-Led SEO. Buy the book. It's on Amazon. I have 20 signed copies sitting in my closet. Sorry, Eli. I never gave them out. So if you want a free copy of that signed by Eli, hit me up. But he writes, right, if you compare click-through rates to a company without a brand to a company with a brand, you can see the difference. Elita Solis herself, queen of the SEOs, mentioned the same exact thing on her Crawling Mondays I was doing with her a few weeks ago. I am not good with time, except my own time. I'm 40 years old and I'm aging quickly. We were talking about, she had a client who says, hey, look, I know we were trying to like optimize me to get into the product carousel listing thing or majigger on the serve, the product carousel, PLAs, yada, yada, yada. But should we invest that much into it? Because yeah, you'll get me in there because you're a latest Solis. Like you're a superhero. You can do anything. But what happens when I'm in there and then I'm next to like a gazillion other big brands and it's a super scrollable thing? So it's not like it's like not hard to scroll. It's super easy to scroll past me. People are just going to click on the other big brands. Like maybe I should focus on other things. Elia's like, you know what? That's true. That's very true. Just if your brand is not recognized for something, they will have a very hard time including being clicked in the product carousels, even if you're featured there. So Elite is telling you that. You don't need an SEO expert to tell you that, though those two are super SEO experts. Follow them on social media for more. If you wanted to spend time with me, if like you had that unfortunate circumstance happen to you, which you have right now, but you're not actually spending time with me, I'm just telling you about SEO and marketing stuff, we would inevitably talk about the Yankees. I'm a giant Yankees fan. I love the Yankees. They're so good. They're not so good. It's a big problem. And if you like, okay, I'm going to prep for this meeting, this social time with Morty, like we need to prep ourselves for that emotionally and topically, you might Google Yankees. And you're not a big baseball nut, so I don't know what to click on here. I see MajorLeagueBaseball.com. I see Sports Illustrated. I see 2 other websites that I know nothing about. Who are you going to click on? Seriously. Okay, I know Empire Sports Media because I'm a baseball lunatic. I know Pinstripe because I'm not normal. But most normal people are looking at this MLB.com or Sports Illustrated. It's just a matter of which one I want to click on. Okay, like we all know this is true. Okay, positioning here doesn't necessarily matter. Getting into the box here matters. Once you're there, the position itself doesn't matter so much. Sports Illustrated and MLB.com are getting all of those clicks for the most part. This is exactly what Ali Berry, formerly of the Motley Fool and the Ascend, brilliant SEO and content marketer. Follow her and everybody.
And she contributes to SEJ. Just want to say, look her up.
Oh, there we go. And she contributes to SEJ. So look her up there. Just had a call with her yesterday. She's awesome. She writes brand marketing. By the way, the reason why this is branded for me is I'm not plugging myself. I pulled this on my social media that I did. I'm not like that big of an arse that I would actually do that. It's from a social media carousel that I did. I just didn't like repurpose it. I just screenshot it and plugged it in here. I'm sorry for the promotion. She wrote brand marketing is often a silent driver of successful performance marketing. Okay. It's silent, but deadly. Just because it's silent doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. And it has enormous implications on conversions and traffic and clicks and budget spend. I was eating, if you're Jewish, you'll know about this. I was eating a Shabbat meal with somebody, and we were talking about this. They were saying, I hate being retargeted by people. They didn't say it like that because they don't know what retargeting is. They said, I can't stand where like I'm talking, and then all of a sudden I go and I go on Facebook and I see everything I just talked about. My wife hates it, by the way. I embrace it. If I want something, like I want to buy something, I just go into Facebook and buy like dining room chairs. And now I don't have to search for anything. It all comes right to me. Sick mind, but it's effective. There was a market.
But it's a little creepy when they're listening. I just got to say that.
It's super creepy. Okay. So the performance marketers out there will say, retarget. If you're a brand marketer, you will say, pump the brakes on that. Does it actually resonate? And you know what? Marketing Dive said it found that it doesn't resonate with 68% of consumers. So all of you people out there listening, watching this right now, are like, retarget, pay that money. 68% of your consumers think you're a pain in the ass right now. And even if they click, by the way, they still think you're a pain in the ass. Kevin Indig put it really, really well. By the way, check out Kevin Indig's weekly, pretty sure it's weekly. Yeah, it's weekly. SEJ column. Growth memo. You can see it's right. He's got his big face. Kevin's big face right there. Beautiful face, by the way. Kevin's got, I feel like Donald Trump. Beautiful face. He's got a beautiful face. Kevin Indig. He wrote, and it's super true, and I've seen this firsthand so many times. One pattern I continuously see with clients that underinvest in brand marketing is that a performance channel become more expensive. And he goes on to say, this is true. The challenge is pattern creeps up slowly and is extremely hard to diagnose. The extremely hard to diagnose part is so true. I've seen this so many times. I'm pleading with you now. What happens is, and you know this, search your feelings. You know this to be true. From one dark heart to another, Darth Vader to me to you. You've seen this happen. It's probably happened to you. Performance goes down. I don't know, you're a social media manager, okay? So your like likes go down, or the organic social traffic goes down, or I don't know, you're an SEO. And the impressions go down, or the clicks go down, but the impressions remain the same. Whatever it is, something goes down. CMO will come in, go, what? Come on, what's going on? Come on, man. From one president to another president now. Come on, man. What happened? Like, why is the traffic going down? Why are the clicks going down? Why are the likes going down? What are you doing, social media manager? What are you doing, content marketer? What are you doing, SEO person? And you think in your head, nothing's changed. What are you talking about, dude? Nothing changed. It's all the same. And you say, okay, we'll try whatever, but you know in your heart, it's just the algorithm. It's just the ecosystem. It's just what we're competing with huge brands. It's not us. And what happens is that when performance goes down, the decision makers look to the immediate channels. They'll look to SEO. They'll look to PPC. They'll look to social media. They'll look to whatever the immediate channel is. And they'll try to fix the immediate channel. But what they won't do is realize what Ali just said, which is that performance is a silent driver, and that what's really causing the slow decay over time, as Kevin is saying here, so many people to keep track of, is that the performance is being decayed because the brand decayed. The brand decay is now resulting in a slow decay in whether it's social media resonance and therefore clicks or likes, or whether it's brand authority, in which case your SEO, right? The rankings are going down. The brand is what's the real root cause behind the decay. And I have seen this personally so many times. The head of marketing, VP, whatever it is, won't look at the root cause. And they won't, by the time they realize what's actually happening, it's too late. So, and I mean that, it's too late. And you don't believe me. Like, nope, that's too brandish. Okay. If you want to lose 20% of your stock value, like a certain shoe company that I know of, go right ahead and don't believe me. But Nike saw this. Nike, I don't want to get into the whole story, but Nike super, well, like we will, like for right now, Nike invested super heavily in performance, like SEO. They saw that didn't work. And they went back to brand. Nike shifts more performance dollars to brand building, doing a bad job at it, by the way, but different story. But you're not Nike. I just want to say that. You are not Nike. Nike built themselves on brand. They know the value of brand. They got built on brand. Most companies didn't. Most companies got built, I will tell you the truth, most companies got built because they had the right product at the right time. That's generally how most companies are successful, not their marketing. And they haven't done real brand. Most of the people I talk to haven't actually sat down and thought like a simple question of like, who's actually really interested in me? Like a basic brand question. I promise you, they haven't. And they're not going to do that. If they see the performance decay, like I just talked about, they're going to go to the performance channels because they're not Nike. They never had brands. They're not going to go pivot back to it. I need a break. Deep breaths. Nike is bonkers, by the way. Like that was like 20% of their stock value. It's bonkers.
Yeah, that is painful. We did research what coincided with that exact drop, and you explained to me that it was an earnings call. So like they didn't meet their earnings based on all these brand attrition factors that you're talking about, which then caused a sudden drop in the stock price. But that was like, it all happens gradually and then all at once. It's like bankruptcy.
Yeah, it's like amazing. So yeah, what happened was like their performance went down. They doubled down on digital. So Nike is crazy. You're right. They had an earnings call and they didn't meet expectations and their stock fell off because of it. But the reason behind the earnings is the interesting part because what they did was they doubled down on digital. They went digital during COVID, not because of COVID. They went digital at the same time as COVID, and COVID hit, and they were like, "Oh, digital works." This is, by the way, how silly brands could be. They expected that to continue after COVID, but one of the more annoying things to buy online are shoes. Just to be honest with you, every shoe. I just did it, by the way. I just bought shoes online and they didn't fit the way they were supposed. I'm like, all right, whatever. I now have to live with it. They're not good anymore. But what happened was Nike, when they went digital, went from B2B to B2C. Yeah, Nike was a B2B company. What they would do is they would focus on their like outlets, like their actual outlets, their suppliers. Like I'm not getting that word right. Can't get it right. Foot Locker. They would focus on Foot Locker. And when they pulled back, Foot Locker said, what do we do? I guess let's put On and Hoka on the shelves. So Nike literally gave their competitors shelf space. The reason why those competitors are so popular right now is because Nike screwed the pooch so badly. So badly. And then they're like, oh man, we're not actually performing as well. And then the stock fell off. Crazy, right?
That is crazy because when I think about just looking around at my local community, I can't remember the last time I saw a Nike swoosh on a pair of sneakers, but I do recall seeing Hoka's recently because they have a sort of I'll just call it a signature look. It's whatever your taste is, no judgment, but I know people who buy them and wear them and they swear by them. So, Nike really gave up some of that brand recognition.
Yeah. My wife will never go back. She's a nurse. She's on her feet all the time. She's like, oh, this is way more comfortable than what she was wearing before. It wasn't Nike. When you give, I'm just going to say this to you, okay? Not you, Katie, the audience. And Katie, everyone can listen. When you give up that brand spot and it's not like, okay, you build the brand and brands do this all the time. You see it, by the way, in the digital marketing space, super common. We got the audience. We built the brand. Now we can do the next thing. No, you can't. It's like I don't know if you ever had to like lose weight for something. I had to lose weight for like a medical condition that I had. Like, oh, you better like lose a few pounds. So I did. It's not just, okay, losing the initial, it's not the initial thing that you need to do, right? In this case, I had to lose some weight. It's maintaining it that's hard. If you're an SEO, okay, Getting the rankings is one thing. You know this. Maintaining the ranking is a totally different ballgame. You have to maintain the brand, because the second you let somebody in, like Hoka, you're done. It's so hard to get it back, and I guess having a really hard time getting it back. So let's actually talk about some of that actual brand marketing. Okay, so we know that brand gets you traffic, it gets you conversions and clicks, but none of that matters. Okay, yay, we know brand is super important. It gets conversions and clicks and traffic, which is what like basically the entire SEO space has been doing for the past few months. It's super important. That doesn't, I mean, it's good. I'm glad people are saying that. It doesn't exactly help you unless you're going to, hand off somebody or communicate better with your comms team. But if you're the one who's now like actually like having to do something, you need to know a little bit of brand. It's still, no matter what, even if you're handing it off to the comms team or the brand team, you need to know a little bit of brand. So let's do that. There's three big aspects, the big three. There's identity, there's positioning, and there's messaging. Messaging is the smallest of the big three. I'm going to tell you why. The first is identity. You have to build a strong brand identity, and I break that down to doing three things. One is building depth. What I mean by building depth is you have to think about how integral the emotion that you're all about is. What do I mean? In the human experience, there's feelings or emotions or whatever you want to call them, existential realities that are less core to the human experience and more core to the human experience. So fun. I did not have fun today. In fact, I'm having the opposite of fun today. I will probably not have fun tomorrow. I may not have fun on the weekend, depending on what my children do to me, literally. I will live. I can live and cope without having fun. Fun is a surface-like transient emotion. It's not what you want to go for. Right? You don't want to be all about, our brand is all about fun. Good vibes, transient, surface-like, non-integral. What is integral? Things like, I don't know, like connection. Connection is integral. If I don't connect to myself, I don't connect to my work, I don't connect to my coworkers, I don't connect to my family, if I don't have some kind of connection, I cannot function, I cannot exist. So your brand should be about connection or things like that, not literally about connection. Okay, so let's like run this through like an actual example. Right? If I was, let's say, at an amusement park, I wouldn't say, we're all about having fun. I would go for something a little bit deeper. Maybe we're all about like, I don't know, like we're all about bringing like joy to life. Okay, I'm just being that's a little bit cliche, but for the moment, just run with that. Okay, then you need to have clarity around that. What does that actually mean? What does it actually look like? Who are we? Imagine somebody asked you, okay, it's literally like this. Who are you? And you're like, and they didn't mean that just like, what do you do for work? Which is like in America, like that's what we mean. Like imagine like you actually meant that in a real way. Like, who are you? And you're like, and then you give an answer. Okay, like you lost that person. When your brand identity, that depth concept, like that meaning that you have in your brand and who you are as a brand isn't super crystal clear to you, you cannot communicate it to others. You'll just end up going, which is not what you want as a brand. The third thing you need to do after that is, okay, we've built a meaningful identity for ourselves. We have a very clear conception of it. We focus on it. We spend time on it. We know exactly who we are in a very concise, clear way. It's highly possible, not highly, it's possible that your meaningful, crystal clear brand identity is the exact same as somebody else in your space. So you need to check for differentiation, make sure it's a little bit different, and work on that. Okay, great. Identity should naturally lead you to ask, who is the right audience for us? Meaning if we're all about bringing joy to life, right? We're all about like an amusement park, right? We're all about like you re-experiencing joy. Who is an audience who's actually interested in re-experiencing joy, right? Your curmudgeony neighbor who is a pain in the rear end doesn't care about re-experiencing joy. They're happy. Mr. Wilson from Dennis the Menace does not care about re-experiencing joy. They are not your audience. You're knowing who you are in a meaningful way as a brand will help you to target the right audience. It will put you on the doorstep of positioning, of brand positioning, right? You should be asking yourself literally questions like, What kind of feelings we want to produce in our client, in our consumer when they're done? Oh, joy, like, right? What does a happy customer look like? Why do they look like that? Why does it matter? Why do we want to have the customer to have X, Y, and Z? Why do we want them to have joy? Why is that a meaningful thing for a person to have, right? All these things. You need to probe for meaning in the audience. That will lead you to doing positioning. And positioning is the darling of brand. Positioning is how you slide into the context of your audience's life. Right? It's how you as a brand, your brand identity, it's where you meet the audience. It's where the connection actually happens. I would even go so far to say is that positioning is brand. That is where brand exists. That's like the sweet spot where the brand actually exists. To give you like a mini framework of this, I have this on my website at unifybrandmarketing.com. So you can download it, not a pitch. It's just, you can just screenshot it here. So you don't actually have to go and do that, okay? To get started with that, I'll give like a starter framework. You need to ask yourself, like, okay, like what is my audience, like what are their life experiences? It's a perfect time to get into this actually, like the date that we're recording this. Right? Let's say like, I don't know, like my audience is, I'm at the amusement park again. My audience's life experiences, like life is hard. It's gloomy. It's dark. It doesn't seem like there's a light at the end of the tunnel. It all seems like, ugh. Okay. Then you have to ask step 2. What's causing this to happen? I don't know. Like the economy is not great. I'm a digital marketer and there's so much digital noise, whatever it is. Like there's I don't know, the political climate, whatever side you're on, like whatever it is, you have to understand what's causing them to feel this, right? So if we're talking about, our audience feels doom and gloom. You need to isolate, like, okay, like what's causing them to feel that way? Is it a very specific thing? Is it just a lot, whatever it is? And then you need to ask, okay, how does our product and our offering and us as a brand, how does our identity meet those needs? How does that actually work? What actually happens there? Like, so in our case, let's say like, you know what, like life is gloomy, life is horrible, the economy is really hard right now. Let's just say that's the reason why you've identified that people are having a doom and gloom kind of attitude. We can help you reconnect to your joyous self, and we can do it at a it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. We're not Disneyland. Okay? Differentiation, right? You can do it for $25. For $25, you can not have fun. You can re-experience and reconnect with your joyous self that you haven't connected with in a really long time, who you're yearning to reconnect with. Isn't that super meaningful? It is. I'm going to cry. By the way, positioning, I'm going to cry. That was really meaningful. It feels like an episode of Shrinking.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. Getting off verklempt. Positioning, for all you marketers out there, performance marketers, positioning is not a unique selling proposition. It's part of it, okay? It's not it. A USP, unique selling proposition, is exactly what it says it is. It's a proposition. It gets you interested. Where you actually connect and feel like this brand and this product and this offering meets my actual needs, that's positioning. Positioning is where they actually connect with you. It's why I said before, positioning is really brand. It's where the connection happens, where you and your audience meet. Now comes messaging. Now, the messaging should be super simple at this point. Let's say we're this amusement park, and we're saying like you can re-experience your joyous self once again or reconnect with them. I really feel like I need to reconnect with my joyous self. Note to self: reconnect with joyous self after a webinar recording.
Same.
What do I say now? What's the messaging? Hey Sherlock, you know what the messaging is? Reconnect with your joyous self and do it for $25. That's the messaging. Okay? Which is why I said the messaging is the smallest of the big 3. The messaging should flow from the other 2. Identity flows into positioning. The messaging should be the afterthought. I have a habit of doing this. Oh, I should show mine and then do the full slideshow. Whatever, you're good. I have a habit of doing this in my slides. Get ready for it. We're going to go backwards. Backwards. Oh, this is it. I should have like a trigger warning, like the flashing lights. Messaging should have positioning. $10,000 to the person who tells me where the messaging, where the positioning in the messaging is. Where the positioning is in this messaging? Where is the positioning? If we said before that Wingstop is about, I can sit on my arse and on my couch and watch the thing and eat the wings and all the where is that in this? It doesn't exist, which is why it doesn't resonate. There's no positioning in this messaging. Your messaging should be an output, a natural flow over, spillover from your positioning. But that's just phase 1 of marketing. Phase 2 is where y'all come in, performance people. Okay, phase 2 takes that core branding, that identity, that positioning, the messaging, and it looks to develop momentum. Marketing is about momentum. And if anybody tells you otherwise, maybe they're right, but it's also about momentum. And what you want to do now is, okay, we have the identity, we have the messaging. Let's try to get some momentum, which means you need to have reach of some kind. You need to get out there in some way and get that messaging out there. You need to partner with other people, local events if you're a local business, a conference, a sponsorship. You need to get engagement in social media, influencer marketing. That's where all of those things come in. But they're not like Wingstop, where they're just like shills of a messaging self. They have resonance. They have the ability to resonate, which goes back to her point about the digital noise. Yeah, you can have a partnership. You can get out there, right? You sponsor whatever. You do whatever influencer marketing thing. But your messaging is without positioning. It falls flat. It becomes digital noise. That's why you need the branding. And that momentum that you're going to build up, which I know you will, directly impacts performance. That was the most positive I will ever be, by the way. I know you will. Not being sarcastic. I know you will. I'm going to put this in terms an SEO can understand. EAT. Okay. Do you think Google pulled EAT out of a hat? No. Do you think EAT is like built overnight out of a hat? Also no. Okay. EAT, like I know like SEO will talk about it like, what we're going to do today, we're going to build our EAT strategy. EAT, by the way, stands for experience, expertise, authoritative, and trustworthiness. Big topic in the SEO world. Okay. I know SEOs will sit down and be like, today we are going to build out our EAT strategy to get more EAT and improve our rankings. Do you know what a brand never said? Let's sit down and let's build out our EAT strategy and get more rankings. That's not how it works. EAT is a natural output. It's a natural result. It's a natural result of doing everything I just told you. It's a natural result of having strong brand identities, really good positioning, speaking to a targeted audience, and resonating with them, and getting mentions, and listicles, and links, and more mentions, and branded searches with your product or service offering, and other stuff, pounding my fist and saying more stuff. That's where EAT comes from. It doesn't come from, we're going to sit down and we're going to focus on EAT today. That's not how it actually works. Okay? That's where you come in as an actual, as a performance marketer and doing this the real way. I'm Morty Oberstein. If you want to learn more about what I do, which is brand audits, brand strategy, brand communications, and check this out, brand can be measured. It's true. You heard it here first. Check me out at unifiedbrandmarketing.com. If you want more of me on SEJ, which I hope you do, take your phone out. Click the QR code here. You don't click a QR code. Scan the QR code. Or you can go to Google and Google Search Engine Journal, Morty Oberstein. Or you can go to searchenginejournal.com. And then in the search bar, after you do a few other articles by some smarter people, search for Morty Oberstein. You can see my articles about what SEO should know about brand marketing and why you should be focusing on brand marketing right now. Do it now, right now. Also, go over to Search Engine Journal.
You can explore a partnership with us. So we do sponsored emails. You can advertise on the site. You can do a sponsored post. There's lots of different options. We have sponsored rundowns and ebooks. So if you want to explore partnering with Search Engine Journal, go ahead and scan that QR code. Morty, I want to thank you for taking
can I say something on that real quick?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm not just a promoter. I'm a happy client. Well, we've sponsored, right? If you remember like the hair commercial in the 90s, which I really need those commercials back because back to the going really full circle back to the first slide, the hair thing. Wix has sponsored Search Engine Journal before, and I'm not saying this as like a shill. Like I literally mean this. We've seen like amazing results. We've gone back multiple times. Wix has gone back multiple times. So do connect with Search Engine Journal. It's really effective.
Yeah. And I just want to be clear that this webinar today was not even a paid message from Morty. This is just, we really believe in Morty and in his content. And we do appreciate past sponsorships and future sponsorships.
Yeah,
But yeah.
we
Yeah,
could do
Morty
that.
is a darling here, a wonderful contributor to Search Engine Journal, and he has just so much wisdom to share. So we really appreciate you, Morty, and all of the collaboration you allow us to do with you. We love it.
Are you kidding? I'm just happy you let me talk.
Happy to let you talk anytime. It's always a pleasure.
By the way, I'm also flattered that you thought I have a big enough wallet to sponsor something at SCJ.
You guys, we have all kinds of options. Don't let that deter
Yeah, sorry,
you.
I didn't say that.
All right. So I guess that's a wrap for today. So thanks, Morty.
Thanks. See y'all.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.